Hello Simmaroos, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vicky and today I'm doing a speed build. Now I'm going to call this a speed build because obviously I've sped up the actual video, but in reality, oh my gosh, this took me so much time. I can't even tell you how long this took me to actually create. The reason for this build is because it's the beginning of September, and well, it might be if you're watching this in real time, but it might not be the beginning of September anymore. It's the beginning of September when I made this build and when I'm filming this now, which means all the kids and young adults are off to their schools and colleges and university in the real world. So I figured that I would do a back to school university themed house, and I actually really wanted to do an Ikea themed house anyway, and it had been on my list of things to do. I don't know whether you know, but in The Sims 2 there was actually an Ikea stuff pack which was really cool, and Ikea is obviously pretty legendary. Everyone knows Ikea, and you can easily furnish your entire house with Ikea stuff should you wish to. So I thought it was a perfect for a student house. So I've combined my student house with Ikea stuff. Before I go any further, I do want to put in the disclaimer that there is an awful lot of CC in this build, and a lot of it is Ikea related stuff that I have found online in various places, mainly around The Sims and The Sims resource. But if you download this house, all the CC will be in it for you, so you don't have to go and find it and hunt it like I did. So first things first, let's talk about what you're actually looking at, which is a 2-floor house with 4 bedrooms. It's got a family bathroom, an ensuite room upstairs, and also downstairs there's a small toilet as well. There's a kitchen which is really large. It's like a kitchen dining room type area, and as you can see I'm doing the kitchen at the moment, which I'm really pleased how this turns out, and I've put a lot of bits in from around The Sims here, like the open pizza box from Slob's Life, and I just thought that worked really well. As well as downstairs kitchen diner, there is also a living room, and then in true student house style there's also a bedroom, because I figured that there's never enough bedrooms and they've probably just converted one of the rooms at the front of the house to be a bedroom. So at the moment we're working at the back of the house. I had so much fun putting in all the university stuff as well. As you can see, I've put in the table tennis table and the dartboard and a bar in the kitchen, and I just figured this is just going to be such a good hangout place. You'll see as I go a bit further I add some really fun things in here as well. Student life, I figured probably having a couple of drinks, so I put in the keg stand, and I also put in a minute I put in a signpost, which I thought, you know how you go around and you might be a little bit tipsy, you might just pick up random things while you're out. So I thought I'm going to pick up a signpost, a dustbin lid, and a cone, because that's the sort of thing you randomly come back with. That was my logic there, and I just thought it would add a bit of a fun kind of lived in vibe to the kitchen dining bar entertainment area. I did actually find a smaller cone later down the line. I think it was in the buy debug menu, so that does change slightly. Things do change a little bit as I go along, but the essence is still there. By the way, if you went to university, I want to know, did you steal, let's not use the word steal, did you borrow permanently a dustbin lid, a signpost, a cone, or anything else random? Let me know. I really want to know if you came back with anything random. I didn't actually go to university, just for a bit of a life detour here. I did school up to the age of 16. Then I went to college. I think some people might call it sixth form. I don't know what other people call it. But I only did that for a year. And then although I was academically inclined, I didn't enjoy it. So I went off travelling. So you may have heard a bit about all those antics, because I did a World Adventures Traveller build, which is basically based on my kind of house with all like the travel-y junk. But I collected random things from my travels, so although I didn't go to university, I had a different life experience. So yeah, I like to think that I can still kind of tune in to the uni lifestyle somewhat. Back to the build for a second. You can see I'm currently doing the downstairs living room. I don't know why I said downstairs, there's not an upstairs living room, but anyway, this bookshelf stuff does change, because when I saved it and opened it up again, all the stuff kind of magically disappeared. So if you download this, don't expect it to look exactly like that, because I had to change it. But anyway, most of it's exactly the same. But I really like the stuff I found for this room. It's because I think it does look really Ikea-y. A lot of the stuff is literally Ikea themed. So you'll recognise, hopefully, some of it from the old Ikea magazines. So I'm really happy with it. I even found clutter that was, I think, games night clutter, I think, and it had like popcorn and stuff on the table and remote control, and I just thought it looked really lived in. And I think those Kallax box shelves and things, you know, they still exist in Ikea. So yeah, I just thought it was fun. For the eagle-eyed amongst you as well, in the hallway, that little orange thing on the top left is a clothes hook thing that you put on the back of the door. Interesting fact, I actually have that exact one from Ikea in pink. It's like a little dog's bottom, which sounds really weird, and the hook is the tail. So yeah, anyway, that's very Ikea because it literally exists in Ikea and in my house. I feel like I do need to do another Ikea trip actually. I've got one about 40 minutes away and I haven't been to one for absolutely ages, since before lockdown. And during lockdown, I was on an absolute sorting out my house mission because obviously at that point we were literally locked in our houses, so we couldn't do anything else. I ordered absolutely loads of storage boxes, big ones, little ones, middle ones. Everything in my house is in a storage box. You open up my kitchen cupboards, everything's in a storage box. I was storage box obsessed. Trouble is I ended up with too many storage boxes. So now I need to go back to Ikea to return some of the things, because these got delivered, by the way, because obviously we couldn't go out. So I had to have them delivered. I had to wait 3 months for delivery though, because Ikea is obviously so popular and everyone had the same idea as me. So yeah, I need another Ikea trip. I'm currently sitting in my living room, by the way, and I'm looking at my hallway. And in there I have I think it is called the Kallax box shelf thing. Much like the one I put in the living room in this build, I've got a smaller version in my hallway. To be honest, when I'm doing these builds, you do learn a lot about my house. At one point, maybe I should just recreate my house, because I feel like you're going to know basically all about my house just by me yakking about it in these videos. Anyway, back to the build. This is the first bedroom that I created, which is on the ground floor at the front of the house. It's the smallest bedroom, which did pose some challenges. So you've probably already seen that I did rearrange it quite a lot before coming up with actually how this was going to be laid out. And this is, as you can see, a sports themed room. There is a little bit of custom content in this room and in the house from the store. However, I didn't actually buy it from the store. Don't tell anyone. So if you download this, it should still appear with if you don't have the store items, because it's included in the CC in theory. Shh. Look, don't judge me, alright? Some people borrow, in inverted commas, cones, dustbin lids and signs. You wouldn't catch me doing that. I just occasionally borrow Sims 3 content. But it does mean I can make some really awesome builds. So I think it's worth it. Anyway, in the Sims 3 University expansion pack, which I did purchase, just to be clear, you can send your Sims from young adult age and up to the university town to study degrees. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really played the degrees much, so I don't really know if it makes a massive difference. Let me know, by the way, if you do play it and if it does make a massive difference to your income and things like that. But I generally just work for the bottom of the career and go up. And if I fancy doing a degree, I just do. I haven't really noticed the correlation between jobs and degrees. Although I will be exploring the University Expansion Pack more during my Rewind series, where I've uninstalled everything on my gaming computer and I'm going back installing every expansion pack one by one and going through it, and oh my gosh, it's taking forever, I'll tell you that. So apologies that those videos aren't coming up as quickly as I anticipated, but oh my gosh, they take so long to film, to edit, and yeah, and it's just taking forever. But it is a lot of fun and I am really looking forward to exploring university more. But in the meantime, if you have any top tips for me, then do let me know. I still haven't actually got to the point that I was making, which was, in Sims 3 University, you can do 6 different degrees, and they are as follows: communications, business, science and medicine, technology, physical education, and fine arts. So because there are 4 bedrooms in this household, I decided that instead of just making a general uni house with 4 bedrooms, I have themed each 4 room to a specific degree. So I have chosen physical education, which I've just done downstairs, as you can see. And then I also chose communications, because I thought that'd be fun, fine arts, and science and medicine. I didn't do business because I thought that would be not as easy to theme. And I didn't do technology because I figured there'd just be a lot of technology in the room. So those are the 4 that I chose. So now we've done the bedroom downstairs, I've moved on to the upstairs of the house. This is the main bathroom. I love the shower, which is Ikea themed, obviously. And that shower curtain, I'm pretty sure, did actually exist in Ikea at some point. So yeah, I just love it. And as you can see, I'm adding so much clutter to this particular bathroom because it is the main bathroom. Although there's a little toilet downstairs and there's a little ensuite, this is the one that's going to get used the most. So there's lots of towels and there's lots and lots of products and stuff everywhere because, you know, uni house. So I really, really like how this turned out. I have to say, I don't like doing bathrooms because I find them really samey and just a bit boring. But this one was actually quite interesting. And I then moved on to the ensuite, which was really easy because there's not much to do in an ensuite. But again, I found some Ikea themed cabinets. There was a mirrored cabinet that I put in. And again, I could just add in clutter that was just made it look lived in. So yeah, for once I actually enjoyed doing some bathrooms upstairs. And the ensuite bathroom here is just tiny and it's linked to one of the biggest bedrooms, which is at the front of the house, which becomes the science and medicine room. Oh, while we're talking about university degrees and the themes and stuff like that, what did you do at university if you went, or college? So like I said, I didn't really do all that, but when I was at college for the brief year that I was there, I did graphics, film studies, media studies, and computer studies. So that's what I was doing. And since then, I've done so many different things, it's hard to pinpoint an actual direction that I've gone in. And I imagine there's lots of people the same as me as well. Or did you do a uni degree that then isn't actually anything to do with what you're doing now? Because I know that happens as well. You do something and then completely change your mind. If I was to go to university now, I mean, obviously I love computer stuff, I love editing, and all that kind of geeky stuff. I do really like that stuff. And graphics on the computer I love. But I also love art outside the computer, so drawing, painting, all that kind of creative stuff. So that's what I would probably do now if I went to university, but it's more likely I'm just going to go and flit around the world again when I'm able to. So back to the build. Now I've done both the bathrooms and rambled on a little bit. This is the first bedroom upstairs, the second bedroom in total so far, and this is the communications room. Now the stuff in this room is cool. It is actually from around The Sims, and it is the Sims 4 to Sims 3 tiny living conversions, which I think looks really retro and a bit 70s, which is why I then chose the duvet bedspread 70s vibe. I kind of imagined the sim in here would be almost a little bit hippie-ish. So with the banner behind the bed, and when you put in the radio station, which I've just put in now, I kind of imagined it to be, because that's kind of old and retro as well. I just think the whole thing just works really well. I've added in the video camera and the camera from World Adventures as well, because the communications, I think, includes photography stuff as well. Not entirely sure. It does now. And if it doesn't, well, writing, photography, I don't know, magazines, news articles, things like that. I just figured that's all kind of communications, so it worked for me anyway. I do actually go back and change the colour of this wall as well, because I realised that once I'd done a couple of the bedrooms that I kept the wall colour the same. So I did change that, so each bedroom had a slightly different wall colour. Nothing major, but yeah, that will show up in the download link, and it will possibly look slightly different if I don't show it in the actual video. Also, I hope this has come across, but I didn't really want to do any specific male or female type rooms. I really tried to keep it based on the actual degree. So whether or not you were doing sports didn't necessarily mean you were a male sports or a female sports. Communication likewise. So there are, now I've said that, there are a couple of girly things in the art room possibly, but generally I like to keep it very unisex, so anyone could live in any of these rooms. That was the plan anyway. And I'm now moving on to the arty room. As you know, I'm quite creative and quite an arty person myself, so I did look forward to doing this room, and it was quite challenging because it's actually quite a long, thin room. I was trying to work out where to put everything, and the furniture doesn't match. It does in the other rooms, but this one I thought, you know, an eclectic sim, they don't really care about things matching. It's just arty and creative, and there is a lot of clutter in this room because, again, it's creative mess, shall we say. I spent absolutely ages looking through all the wall coverings, all the paintings, because I figured every single surface should be covered with a painting. And normally, if you had a sim in there, you'd actually do some painting and then put your own paintings on the wall. But we haven't got that far, so I had to make it look like they'd already created the paintings, or they'd already basically lived in this house for a while. You may have noticed as well that I use the one more slot please package a lot in this build. It is the best thing since sliced bread. I do mention it in pretty much every video because I use it in pretty much every video. It is that funny checkerboard red and white thing that you probably see popping up, and it basically means you can put items anywhere. So that desk was a bit of a funny one, and it wouldn't let me put items on it where I wanted to. So what you do is you use the OMSP one more slot piece package, that red and checkerboard thing there, and then you change the height of it, and it means you can put items anywhere. It's also a really good way, as you can see, of cluttering up bookshelves and putting extra stuff on it. And I just use it for everything because it is just such a good way of putting items where you actually want them. I'm going to do a whole nother video on cluttering and how to use that and stuff as well, because I have just found an OMSP resizer as well, and I discovered it when I was looking for something else, and I found it right at the end of this build. So I actually went in and then made some of the things a different size. Oh my gosh, absolute flipping game changer. So watch out for that video because it will be coming, probably the next one actually after this. There's a couple of other sneaky little things I like to use as well, which I'll include in that, like an invisible shelf, which, oh, again, brilliant. Oh, by the way, that checkerboard thingy does become invisible. It's not, you can't actually see it. You just see it when you're placing items. You've got those checkerboard front, the top, and also you can see kind of the leg of it, I guess, the stand for it. But as soon as you hit play, that all disappears. So you don't have to worry about it looking silly actually in your game. By the way, I know I am using quite a lot of CC items and things in this build, and I am cluttering it up, but I absolutely love it, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But how good is the university life stuff as well? I think it's really cool. There's certain packs that just comes with stuff that you think, I really like that. And university is one of them. So if you haven't got that pack, I highly recommend it just for the stuff. Like I said, I don't actually use the university world that often, but the stuff, brilliant, perfect. And now we're on to the final room. This is the science and medicine room. And again, using Ikea type items, haven't forgotten about that. Obviously, I did go a bit off-piste with the art room because it just wanted to be cluttered. But that bed is based, I think it's called Hemi's style or something. And then the desk that I'm putting in is PAX theme. You can see I kind of layer up the items to make it a long desk, and then I also put in the infamous Billy bookcase later on. So just remember, this is IKEA themed as well as university themed. Oh, I've just zoomed out to change the wall colours. You might have seen that very, very quickly. It kind of flashed up very, very quickly. Oh look, here's the Billy bookcase going in. Fabulous. It's a bit empty though. Better clutter that up with stuff. Think I might just have a bit of clutter to use. Oh, by the way, another thing I always do, if you don't want to download a whole bunch of CC, you can always go into testing cheats enable true and then buy debug, and it opens up a new menu. It's that little question mark that you see on the screen in the buy mode, and that will bring up a whole load of hidden items in the game, which you can get, like the cameras, for example, from World Adventures that you'd normally have to go and buy in Egypt. You can actually just put them straight into your build, so you can clutter things up without having a whole ton of CC as well, just so you know. It's where I actually found the skeleton, but then I realized you can actually buy it in like the hobbies and skills normal section, so that's a bit of an anomaly. I don't know why that's in there twice, but anyway, normally it's only items that you can find that are kind of hidden items. So now I'm doing the final bedroom. What do you actually think about this build? I honestly loved doing this so much. It did take me absolutely ages, ain't gonna lie, but it was so fun, and doing all the themes was just, I found it challenging but focusing as well, and I did have fun going and finding relevant custom content items for each of the rooms, as well as the copious amounts of Ikea stuff I actually managed to find lurking around the internet. As I mentioned before, this house is available for download in the link below if you would like it. It does come as a Sims 3 pack with most things in, but it also does have some package files which need to go into your mods folder. If you don't know how to do that, I do have a video on how to install mods. These are not technically mods, they're items that go into the mods folder, but there's a few bits that are mods, mainly kitchen items I think, and plants I believe, but most other things are in the Sims pack. But you'll download the zip file and everything will be in there to put in your game, I hope. Please let me know if it doesn't work and I'll cry, but it really should. And now we're coming to the end of the build. I'm very quickly doing the outside. I didn't do much on the outside, I'm not gonna lie. If you want to add more to the outside, go for it. Just throwing a few plants outside and a good old bit of terrain paint. Gotta love a bit of terrain paint as well. And then I'm very nearly done. I'm not even going to bother showing you the back of the house because it was seriously boring. I just literally, like I said, I'm just putting in a few bits and bobs. And then we're coming to the all-important screenshots. Oh my gosh, how good timing was that? Lovely. I'm going to shush and just let you enjoy the screenshots now. There are aerial shots at the end so you can see the layout of the property. And thank you ever so much for spending this time with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye! Thanks so much for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you could like the video and if you could subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to hit the bell icon, you'll receive updates of when I upload a new video. And obviously, please share with your friends if you enjoyed it. Thanks very much. See you in the next one.